Chosen one, if your soul has felt strangely heavy today, if something inside you keeps whispering that you cannot keep rushing past your own life, then listen closely. This Friday is not ordinary. Heaven is interrupting your noise. There are moments when God does not shout over the world. He simply causes everything around you to feel too loud, until your spirit finally turns inward and says, "I need to be still." That is where you are right now. You may have opened this message thinking it was just another video, another voice, another passing encouragement, but something deeper has already begun pulling on your heart. This is not entertainment. This is a divine pause, a sacred interruption, a moment where God is placing his hand on the restless places within you and saying, "Stop running long enough to hear me." You have carried more than people know. You have smiled while fighting silent battles. You have answered messages while your own heart felt unanswered. You have kept moving through bills, pressure, deadlines, disappointment, family expectations, private fears, and the invisible weight of wondering whether your life is truly going anywhere. But on this Friday, God is not asking you to perform strength. He is asking you to receive direction. There is a door beginning to open, but it is not opening through panic, control, or desperate striving. It is opening through obedience, stillness, and spiritual attention. God is saying, "My child, you have been faithful in places where no one applauded you. You have endured storms that were meant to break your confidence. You have survived delays that secretly trained your discernment. Now I am calling you closer, because the next season cannot be entered with the same noise that carried you through the last one. The world moves fast, chosen one, and it has taught you to measure your worth by how much you can carry without collapsing. It tells you to answer faster, work harder, prove more, explain yourself better, and keep pretending that exhaustion is normal. But God is not impressed by the speed of a soul that has forgotten how to hear him. He is calling you out of the race that was never assigned to you. He is saying, "Be still, not because nothing is happening, but because I am doing what your anxiety could never accomplish." There are things being arranged behind the veil right now. Conversations you are not present for, doors you did not force, hearts being moved, timing being adjusted, people being repositioned. What you thought was delay may have been divine protection. What you thought was rejection may have been God removing you from a room too small for the blessing he was preparing. And what you thought was silence may have been heaven teaching you to recognize the difference between pressure and peace. Think of Moses standing before the Red Sea, with fear behind him and impossibility in front of him. He had no strategy strong enough to split the waters. He had only a command: stand firm and watch what God will do. That same command is reaching you now. The sea in front of you may look like debt, confusion, loneliness, health battles, broken trust, or a dream that seems too far gone. But God is saying, "I do not need the path to exist before I lead you through it. I create the way as you trust me." This Friday is a threshold. Do not treat it like another passing day. Something in your spirit is being trained to stop reacting to fear and start responding to God. You may be wondering, why now, chosen one? Why this Friday? Why this sudden stirring in your chest? This strange feeling that something is closing behind you while something greater is opening ahead of you? The answer is simple, but it is not small. God's timing has reached a point your understanding could not predict. He was not late when you cried. He was not absent when you waited. He was not ignoring you when the doors stayed shut. He was preparing a moment that could not be rushed by human desire. Every season you thought was wasted was working beneath the surface. Every rejection trained your surrender. Every lonely night sharpened your hearing. Every delay separated you from distractions that would have destroyed what God was building in you. You thought you were stuck, but heaven was planting roots. You thought you were hidden, but God was preserving your oil. You thought you were forgotten, but your name was still being spoken in rooms your feet had not entered yet. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, thrown into prison, and forgotten by people he once helped. From the outside, His life looked delayed, buried, and unfair. But God was not building Joseph for applause. He was building him for authority. In one divine turn, the prison became a doorway, the pain became preparation, and the one who was overlooked became the answer to a nation's crisis. That is why God is telling you to stop and listen, because the next instruction may not come with noise. It may come as peace. It may come as a quiet release. It may come as the courage to walk away, the faith to begin again, or the strength to believe that your buried dreams are not dead. They are waiting for the breath of God. Faith, chosen one, is not proven when everything makes sense. Faith is revealed when the path looks unclear, but your spirit still chooses to trust the one who is leading you. It is easy to believe when the evidence is visible, when money is stable, when relationships feel safe, when your body feels strong, when every door opens exactly when you expected it to open. But the faith God is forming in you is deeper than comfort. It is the kind of faith that can stand in the dark and still say, God is here. Noah built before rain came. Ruth followed when there was no guarantee. Abraham left what was familiar before he knew where the promise would take him. Peter stepped onto water before the waves became calm. That is the kind of trust heaven is asking from you now. Not reckless emotion, not blind desperation, but a surrendered confidence that says, I may not see the whole road, but I know the voice that called me forward. You have been asking God for certainty, but sometimes He gives direction first. You have been asking for the full picture, but sometimes He gives only the next step, because the next step is where obedience becomes real. If He showed you everything at once, fear might talk you out of destiny. If He revealed every battle before the breakthrough, your human mind might shrink back. So He leads you by light enough for today. On this Friday, God is not asking you to carry tomorrow. He is asking you to listen today. Release the need to control every outcome. Stop rehearsing disaster. Stop letting your past become a prophet over your future. The same God who kept you through what should have destroyed you is now calling you into what will restore you. Now imagine your life 1 year from today, chosen one, not as a fantasy, but as a holy vision God is beginning to awaken inside you. Imagine the anxiety that once followed you into bed losing its voice. Imagine the chains that made you doubt your worth breaking quietly, one by one. Imagine waking up with peace in your chest, not because every problem disappeared, but because you finally know you are no longer fighting from fear. You are walking under covering. This is the transformation God is speaking over you on this Friday. He is not offering a shallow comfort that fades when the next problem appears. He is renewing the hidden architecture of your life. Your thoughts, your reactions, your desires, your confidence, your ability to discern what is from Him and what is only noise. The version of you that survived by overthinking is being replaced by a version that listens, trusts, and moves with spiritual authority. But understand this, the enemy will not stay silent when you begin to hear God clearly. He will send familiar lies through your mind. You are too late. You are not enough. You missed your chance. Your past disqualified you. Your dream is too big. Your healing is impossible. But God is saying, silence those lies. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Not the weapon of shame. Not the weapon of fear. Not the weapon of comparison. Not the weapon of exhaustion. You are not what happened to you. You are not the delay. You are not the betrayal. You are not the mistake. You are the one God preserved through it. And on this Friday, He is reminding you that unexpected blessings are not random accidents. They are divine setups. A door may open. A call may come. A burden may lift. A relationship may be restored. But first, your spirit must become quiet enough to recognize His hand. Chosen one, there is a reason the desert has been part of your story. The dry places did not come to erase you. They came to expose what could not be shaken in you. In the desert, distractions lose their power. Applause becomes quiet. False comfort disappears. And suddenly, the soul begins to hear what it ignored when life was crowded. That is why God often speaks loudest in the wilderness. Not because he is cruel, but because silence can become holy ground when his presence enters it. You may have felt alone, overlooked, emotionally tired, or spiritually dry. You may have wondered why others seemed to move ahead while you were still waiting for clarity. But God is saying, you were not abandoned in that place. You were being separated from voices that could not go with you into destiny. You were being trained to recognize his whisper above the panic of the world. David was overlooked in the field before he was revealed in the palace. His own family did not call him forward, but God saw him. Heaven knew his name before people respected his oil. And when the giant appeared, David did not win because he looked powerful. He won because he had been trained in hidden places, where no one clapped, where no one watched, where faith became muscle. That is what God has been doing in you. Every quiet battle, every private tear, every moment you chose obedience when no one understood was not wasted. It was training. And now, on this Friday, God is saying, stop trying to force yourself to be seen. I know where you are. I know when to call you forward. The giant in front of you is not proof that you are weak. It is proof that your hidden preparation is ready to be revealed. Surrender, chosen one, does not mean you have lost the battle. It means you have finally stopped fighting in a way God never asked you to fight. It is the holy decision to place your fear, your timeline, your wounded expectations, and your need to control every outcome into the hands of the one who sees farther than you can see. On this Friday, God is not asking you to give up your dream. He is asking you to give up the version of the dream that was built from panic. Some of what you have been carrying has become too heavy because it was never meant to be carried alone. The pressure to prove yourself, the ache of waiting, the pain of being misunderstood, the relationship that drains your spirit, the job that keeps your body present but your soul exhausted, the fear that if you let go, nothing will happen. But God is saying, give it to me. What leaves your hands in surrender does not leave my sight. Think of Hannah, weeping with a pain no one fully understood. Her prayer was not polished, her heart was poured out. And when she surrendered the deepest ache of her soul to God, he did not just answer her with a child. He answered her with Samuel, a prophetic blessing that carried purpose beyond her personal pain. That is how God works. He takes what almost broke you and turns it into something that blesses more than just you. On this Friday, he is asking you to release the burden without releasing the promise. Let go of the fear, not the faith. Let go of the control, not the calling. The river of God is moving, and you do not have to manufacture the current. Step into it. Listen. Trust. Surrender is not the end of your strength. It is where divine strength begins. Chosen one, there is a divine alignment happening around you, even if your natural eyes cannot yet see the pieces coming together. God is moving through details you thought were insignificant. A delayed answer, an unexpected conversation, a closed door, a sudden burden to pray, a strange peace about something you used to fear. None of it is random. Heaven is arranging people, timing, opportunities, and revelations according to a plan your anxiety could never design. But alignment requires attention. You cannot walk into divine order while clinging to every old pattern that kept you distracted. This is why God is asking you to stop and listen. Some doors are not locked because the enemy is powerful. Some doors remain closed because your spirit has not yet become still enough to receive the key. There are instructions you can only hear when you stop letting urgency rule your decisions. Esther could have hidden behind comfort. She could have remained silent, protected herself, and convinced herself that the crisis was not her responsibility. But when the appointed time came, she understood that her position was not an accident. Her beauty was not random. Her access was not random. Her pain was not random. She had been placed there for such a time as this. And so have you. Your life is not a scattered collection of mistakes, disappointments, and almosts. It is a divine narrative being written by a God who wastes nothing. The job that humbled you, the relationship that exposed your wounds, the season that stripped away your pride, the waiting that tested your faith, all of it has been woven into preparation. On this Friday, God is saying, do not miss the moment, because you are still grieving the method. The way He prepared you may have hurt, but the purpose is holy. Listen closely. Your next step may look simple, but obedience to that step can shift the entire direction of your life. Chosen one, there is healing being released in the places you learn to hide. Not just healing for the wounds people could see, but healing for the quiet damage you carried in your thoughts, your nervous system, your trust, your ability to hope again. Some battles did not leave visible scars, but they changed how you breathed, how you loved, how you expected disappointment before blessing could even arrive. God sees that part of you too. On this Friday, He is not merely placing a bandage over old pain, He is restoring what fear trained you to abandon. He is teaching your heart that peace is still possible. He is teaching your mind that not every unknown is a threat. He is teaching your spirit that what happened behind you does not have the authority to define what He is opening before you. There are people who only saw your survival, but God saw the cost of it. He saw the nights you stayed awake with questions no one could answer. He saw the moments you encouraged others while secretly needing encouragement yourself. He saw the times you wanted to quit, but something holy inside you refused to let go. That was not weakness. That was grace holding you when your strength had reached its limit. Now God is calling you into a deeper identity. You are not just someone who made it through. You are His child, His vessel, His light in the darkness, His testimony in motion. Your story is not shameful. It is proof that the enemy did not win. So listen closely. The same God who protected you in the storm is now speaking peace over the waters. The same God who carried you in the wilderness is now guiding you toward provision. The same God who saw you unseen is now preparing to reveal what He placed within you. Do not shrink back now. Your healing is becoming your authority. Chosen one, this is the moment where you must decide whether you will return to the noise or remain close enough to hear God clearly. Because after a message like this, life will still try to pull you back into old rhythms. The phone will ring, the bills will wait, the pressure will speak, the same fears may come knocking again. But something inside you has shifted. You cannot unknow what your spirit has heard. You cannot pretend this Friday was ordinary when heaven has used it to awaken something sacred in you. God is saying, I have been with you through every season. I was with you when you felt forgotten. I was with you when your prayers sounded weak. I was with you when you did not understand the delay. I was with you when people overlooked your value, when doors closed, when your heart grew tired, when your faith trembled but did not die. And now I am still with you, not as a distant observer, but as the one going before you. This is your instruction. Be still enough to listen, be brave enough to obey, be humble enough to surrender, be faithful enough to move when God says move, even if the whole path is not visible yet. Your breakthrough is not only about receiving something new, it is about becoming someone who can carry the blessing without losing the presence. The door is opening, but you must step through with a quiet heart and a surrendered spirit. Leave behind the fear that kept you small. Leave behind the shame that kept you silent. Leave behind the need to prove yourself to people who never understood your assignment. God has called you chosen, and His voice is stronger than every lie that tried to define you. This Friday is not the end of the message. It is the beginning of your obedience.